Think back to those seasons of your life when you felt adrift, when no clear path appeared, when no obvious action presented itself, when you stood at a crossroads and couldn't read a single sign. Maybe that's exactly where you are right now. The world around you may feel chaotic, options may feel thin, and the future may feel like a wall with no door in it. But I say to you, these very moments of apparent confusion and uncertainty are your greatest opening for growth and creation. So what must you actually do when you don't know what to do? It is not a matter of external strategy or logical analysis. It is a shift in your state of being, an inner reorientation that aligns you with the creative intelligence of the universe. It is the recognition that the answer, the guidance, the way forward isn't waiting for you somewhere out there. It already exists within you, waiting to be drawn into reality through the specific use of your imagination. Let us go deeper into this truth. Your outer world, every experience you move through, every circumstance you find yourself in, is nothing more than a reflection of your inner world, of your consciousness. It is a mirror, faithfully showing you back the accumulated weight of your beliefs, your assumptions, and most critically, your imaginal acts. Once you truly grasp this, not as an interesting idea but as operating law, everything shifts. You realize that by deliberately choosing and vividly inhabiting a desired state, even in the face of complete outer uncertainty, you are actively constructing a new reality, one that must eventually appear in your experience. This realization transforms how you meet uncertainty at its root. You are no longer a passive figure at the mercy of confusing circumstances, scanning the horizon for someone or something to tell you what to do. You become the active creator of your own reality. You understand that as you imagine and feel a desired state, the universe is required to rearrange itself to match that inner assumption, delivering the guidance and clarity you've been searching for. But how, practically, does someone tap into this inner knowing when everything outside feels disorganized and unclear? The answer lives in the creative power of your imagination, combined with the intensity of your feeling. Because your imagination is not a toy, it is not a place you go to escape from reality, and your feelings are not merely reactions to external events. Together, they form the actual workshop in which reality is built. Here's why this works at a deeper level. Your subconscious mind, which is one with the universal creative force, does not distinguish between what you vividly imagine and feel to be true and what you actually encounter in the outer world. It accepts as true whatever you genuinely feel to be true in your imaginal acts. And once it accepts something as true, it moves, with mathematical reliability, to bring that truth into visible, physical form. Regardless of how chaotic or impossible the outer situation appears to your rational mind. So when you find yourself in a moment of confusion, not knowing which direction to move, here is what you must do. Turn inward. Go to your imagination. Build a scene that implies your desired outcome has already been achieved. Feel the relief of it. Feel the clarity that washes through you when the perfect path has been revealed. Feel the quiet, settled knowing of someone who has already received the answer they sought. And then live inside that imaginal act as though it were already your physical reality. This is the essence of what to do when you don't know what to do. Not to search harder outside yourself, but to recognize that the power to find clarity in confusion lives within you, and that the outer uncertainty you're experiencing is simply a reflection of the inner conversations and imaginal acts you've been running. Those can be changed the moment you choose to occupy a new state. Consider the scripture, "Be still and know that I am God." This is not poetry. It is not a call to passive resignation. It is a statement of cosmic law, an invitation to recognize the power of your own inner being. When you become still, when you quiet the frightened chatter of the worried mind and enter your imagination, You are connecting with the God presence within you, the source of all wisdom and direction. But let me be clear, turning inward in moments of uncertainty is not escapism. It is not a denial of what's happening around you. It is total immersion in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, of the perfect solution already realized. When you truly embody this practice, you naturally begin to carry the thoughts, the feelings, the inner conversations of the person who has already received the guidance they were looking for. You move through your day and you go to sleep, not as someone paralyzed by confusion, but as someone who is clear, grounded, and moving with purpose toward a known destination. Let me give you a concrete example of how this actually plays out. Imagine someone facing a critical decision, two possible career paths, no obvious indication of which to choose. The outer world is giving no signals. Nothing in the circumstances is pointing clearly in either direction. Now imagine this person deciding to turn inward. They quiet the mind. They construct a scene in imagination that implies they have already made the perfect choice and are now thriving in their new direction. They feel the satisfaction of it, the certainty, the deep joy of knowing they're exactly where they're supposed to be. They don't hold this feeling for a moment and release it. They return to it again and again, especially as they drift towards sleep at night, which is when the subconscious mind is most receptive. When they wake, something has shifted. The outer circumstances haven't visibly changed yet, but internally, they are a different person. They have experienced the reality of clarity and certainty from the inside. And that new inner identity begins immediately reshaping the outer world to match. In the days that follow, they find themselves naturally drawn towards certain information, certain conversations, certain opportunities, all gravitating toward one of the paths. They approach the decision with a calm they couldn't previously access. Insights that were hidden before suddenly surface, and as they continue to live from the state of already knowing, the outer world catches up. The perfect path reveals itself, often through means they never could have logically anticipated or planned. This principle applies across every domain where uncertainty grips you. Whether you're navigating a relationship challenge, a health concern, a financial decision, or any other situation where the way forward is obscured, the method is the same. Assume the state of clarity and knowing in your imagination first. Feel the reality of being guided perfectly. Feel what it's like to know exactly what to do. Plant that seed in your imagination and trust that it must grow into your outer experience. I can hear some of you thinking, but how can imagining a solution actually produce one when I genuinely have no idea what to do? Surely I need more information. Surely I need outside advice. And I say to you, external information and advice can certainly play a supporting role, but they are always secondary to the wisdom that emerges from within. When you turn to your imagination first, when you assume the state of clarity and knowing, you align yourself with an intelligence that is infinite. From that aligned state, you will be naturally guided to the right information, the right people, the right circumstances. They will come to you. You won't need to strain toward them. Remember, the outer world has no life of its own. It is your consciousness that animates your experience. When you stay in a state of confusion and keep searching outside yourself for answers, you are breathing life into a reality that sustains and deepens that confusion. But when you turn inward, when you assume the state of clarity in your imagination, you set in motion a chain of events that must culminate in the outer expression of that new inner reality. Let me warn you honestly, this shift is not always simple. The old habits are deep. The habit of worrying, of scanning the outside world for answers, of sitting in confusion and calling it realistic. These patterns are etched into our collective consciousness. As you begin to practice turning within, when uncertainty arises, resistance will come up. Doubt will arrive. Old thought patterns will assert themselves. When this happens, do not fight. Don't battle the doubt or try to forcibly push the old thoughts out. Simply observe them, acknowledge them without judgment, and gently return to your imaginal act of clarity and knowing. Because the war is not won by fighting what you don't want. It is won by persistently inhabiting what you do want. This persistence, this refusal to abandon the inner state of guidance, even when everything outside still looks unclear, is what transforms the reality you're living in. Think of it like tuning a radio. When you want to receive a particular station, you don't expend energy trying to silence every other frequency. You simply turn the dial to where you want to be. In exactly this way, you don't need to fight your confusion or struggle against your uncertainty. You simply tune yourself to the frequency of clarity and guidance. You align your whole consciousness with the state of already knowing. This tuning happens through imagination and through your capacity to generate genuine feeling. Your imagination is the dial. As you use it to fully inhabit the state of clarity and divine guidance, as you feel the reality of being inwardly directed, you are tuning to that frequency, and the experiences that correspond to it must flow toward you. Understand, though, that this is not a one-time event. It is a practice, a way of meeting life. It is a consistent choice, made again and again, to maintain this inner orientation regardless of what the outer world is currently showing you. Just as you wouldn't expect one visit to the gym to sustain your physical fitness, you cannot expect one imaginal act to establish this as your default way of operating. This requires persistence. It requires turning within day after day until the consciousness of divine guidance becomes your new normal, not the exception, but the baseline. As you do this, something remarkable begins to happen. Your entire relationship with uncertainty starts to change. Situations that once felt chaotic and threatening begin to look like openings, as opportunities for growth and new possibilities you couldn't have seen from your previous vantage point. Challenges start to function as stepping stones toward greater clarity. You begin to recognize yourself as what you actually are, an empowered consciousness who is always connected to the guidance it needs. Some of you are wondering, how can I maintain this when everything outside still looks uncertain? How do I stay in the feeling of clarity when circumstances keep contradicting it? Here is your answer. Your imagination, infused with genuine feeling, is more powerful than any circumstance. Think about this. Have you ever been moved to real emotion by a film or a novel? In those moments, your feelings were completely authentic, even though the events were occurring nowhere in your physical reality. This is the power you must consciously direct when you turn inward. Use your imagination to construct experiences that generate the feeling of perfect clarity, of knowing, of being guided. The feelings that arise are real. They have creative power, regardless of what produced them. Imagine how you would feel if you knew, with absolute certainty, the perfect next step. Feel the relief that would move through you, the confidence, the deep peace of someone who simply knows. Engage your senses in this. Feel what it feels like in your body to walk with that certainty. Hear the quality of wisdom that comes from within. See yourself moving through your life with direction and purpose. But here is a crucial point. The goal is not to imagine the specific details of a solution. The goal is to capture the feeling essence of being guided, of knowing exactly what to do. Because it is that feeling state that is the true creative force at work, not the specific content of the imagined scene. Instead of trying to picture the particular answer, feel the experience of already having it. Imagine a deep, settled warmth filling your entire being, the feeling of absolute knowing. Feel the peace, the alignment, the unshakable sense that every step you take is the right one. By focusing on this feeling essence, rather than particular outcomes, you open yourself to solutions that may far exceed what your current state of mind could conceive. You invite in possibilities that exist beyond the boundary of your present thinking. This is the true art of knowing what to do when you don't know what to do. Not forcing an answer through sheer mental effort, not anxiously assembling information until clarity arrives, but aligning yourself with the truth of what you actually are, a consciousness that is one with infinite creative intelligence, and living each day from the state of being guided, regardless of outer appearances. As you practice this, you will begin to notice things shifting around you, synchronicities appearing with unusual frequency, the right information arriving through unexpected sources, people entering your life who carry exactly what you needed, decisions that once created weeks of paralysis suddenly becoming obvious. Don't dismiss these as coincidence. See them as confirmation that your inner shift is making ripples in your outer world. Don't become anxious about them either, grasping at each small sign as proof. Simply notice them with gratitude and continue to live from the state of guidance. As you persist, the shifts will deepen. Complex situations will begin to resolve with a grace and ease that surprises you. What once felt like a maze will reveal clear passages, and life will begin to feel like something unfolding for you rather than something happening to you. But remember, the outer manifestation is not the true goal. The goal is the state of consciousness, the consciousness from which all desired experiences naturally and inevitably flow. When you are truly inhabiting the state of being divinely guided, when you are genuinely living from this inner orientation, you no longer require external circumstances to validate it. You are already whole, already complete in the knowing that guidance is always available to you. And paradoxically, it is precisely in this state of inner assurance that you are most likely to live a life where you always know exactly what to do. Some of you may be asking, what about action? Don't we still need to do things, make calls, research options, make actual decisions in the physical world?